All right, guys, go ahead and get into it. Um, because we have such a large group, I am probably going to hold off on answering the questions until the end. But feel free to ask them as they come up. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end of the masterclass today, and I'll just go through and answer anything that comes up. So definitely utilize that chat box as we're going through. All right. Yeah. So this is class Survive to Thrive, how to generate immediate revenue, increase your patient base, and come out stronger. Thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight. What we're going to cover is how you can generate revenue immediately, how to increase your patient base today, how to position your practice to come out of this ahead. We're going to look at the 5 critical components of marketing for emergency dental. And we're also going to look at where to focus your marketing efforts right now. So a lot of really awesome stuff packed today into this masterclass. And I'm very excited with you. Now, to that end, please turn off any cell phones or just silence them, turn off Facebook, because what we're going to cover today, if you really want to take the best actions possible right now for your practice, then these 60 minutes are going to be critical. I promise I have packed in a ton of amazing content for you, and I really want to deliver that. And I just ask for your attention there. Before we start, I really quickly just want to go through who we are. I do see some familiar names in here, but I also see a lot of very new names. So welcome everybody who hasn't maybe seen me before or hasn't heard me speak or sales gang. My is marketing at firegang.com. You can always visit me there. Oh, you know what? Let's go and get that video on so you guys can see me talking at this point. You can always reach me at marketing@firegang.com. Many of you do, and feel free to keep doing that. I've spent millions of dollars on behalf of our clients for dental marketing initiative to identify what works, what doesn't work for dental marketing strategies. I've done a lot of webinars and online trainings, blogs, articles, all that kind of stuff to get all that information out. Why listen to us? Fire Gang, we are a marketing company that works exclusively with dental practices. Why should you pay attention to what we have to say? Just a couple quick tidbits about us. We have clients that are actually doing everything that I'm going to talk about today. They're doing it right now. These are actually things that are happening today. We've got dental clients all the way from small startups to larger multi-location practices. We're the ones that are creating the campaigns that they all use. So a lot of times, if you've seen campaigns out there that you thought were fantastic or that you're competing against, that you're looking to do yourself, we might have been the ones that developed or designed and implemented those in some of the larger markets, because we're working with a lot of these practices. And we work with them all the United States and Canada. We've been doing this for 10 years now. Our CEO, Adam Zilko, has built some great partnerships and been featured on different podcasts like Howard Ferran on Dental Town and Dr. Anissa Holmes with Delivering Wow. So just a lot of great things there that have come out of those partnerships. Just last year, through all of 2019, from January to January, we spent over $1 million on Google Ads alone, just Google Ads on behalf of our client. So this was all ad spend that was going directly to acquiring new patients. And my goal with all of this is not to like brag by sharing this information or anything like that. What I really want to share this information with you for is because I want you to understand that this isn't theory. Like what we're going to talk about today isn't theory. It's all been tested day in and day out. So we know what works. We've done it at a very large scale, and we've battle tested this against the market. So we have the data to understand what isn't going to work. And I'm going to share a lot of that with you today. And we're going to share some things that have worked for a very long time. We're going to share some really amazing new information for you. This is a recent client, and I wanted to showcase their ad performance here, because we have clients that are following our processes right now, looking at implementing all the new things that we can right now amid these closures, and are just seeing some incredible results. So I wanted to highlight this one. This is just pulling a screenshot from our Google Ads account for this one particular client. And what we're seeing right now is amid all of these closures, this client is seeing a conversion rate on their ads that has increased by 138% today over, this is compared to like 3 weeks ago before, or 3-4 weeks ago before all of this happened. And in addition to that, their cost per conversion has decreased by 60%. So what that means for them is they are getting the same number of leads as they were 3-4 weeks ago, but it's costing them less than half as much money to do so. So stay tuned, because I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing with them and that you can implement and how you can get these kinds of results right now, because it's pretty amazing what we're seeing. But before we get into that, I just want to stop for a second and look at this from a historical perspective. Does anyone remember 2008 and kind of what happened there? And if you do, feel free to put it into the chat. I'd love to see how many of you guys went through this with a dental practice. If you were a dental practice owner at that time, just let me know. Just give me a little yes in the chat. And think, how long did it take you to come out of that and fully recover? And think about what was that experience like? We talked to many dentists for several years after the recession, whether they were clients of ours or just dentists that we were speaking with. And many of them after 2008 said that they really, really struggled. And, going into 2012, 13, 14, 15, saying that they never really recovered from that. They tried hard in 2009, 2010, 2011, and 12, and just could not recover. And in other cases, there were dentists that we spoke with that said that, they got their footing back and they were able to recover, but they never got back to where they were pre-recession. Like, they were highly dominant in their marketplace, never really had any issues, always had the patient flow that they needed, but never really got back up to that point. And what we've kind of found is there's really a pattern in all of this. And it's essentially how these dentists went into the recession, how they dealt with it during, and any actions that they took coming out of it. And ultimately, what we found is that there definitely is a faster and better way to come out of this, okay? We have a way that we're going to talk about today through this masterclass that will allow you to not only come out of this situation faster, but also stronger than you were before. So I want to walk through what that looks like right now. So to kind of kick this off, we look at this and we say, all right, we're getting a lot of feedback right now. And it's a bit of a crazy time. And where are we at today? Well, we're in April of 2020, right? And a lot of people are feeling like, a lot of dentists are feeling like we're in this like red zone, okay? April 2020 is just this big old red zone, okay? Well, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I get that. But amidst this certainty, there are a few certainties that I can give you. And the first one is that in 36 months from now, we are going to get to April 2023. That is definitely going to happen. We are going to get there. I can say that for certain. And it is also certain that, of course, right now with these closures, this is something that's happening today. And the other thing that I can tell you with certainty is that at some point between now and then, we're going to cross something that's known as the survival line. Now, I don't know exactly when that's going to be. It could be 6 months from now, 12, 18 months from now, 24 months from now. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen at some point. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that there are people who will cross the survival line and move into a point in which they can thrive again. And so that's why, the name of this masterclass is Survive to Thrive. Those who can survive, hit that survival line and be at a good spot are going to be able to thrive when we come out of it. So what's really interesting right now is that everybody's kind of dealing with this a different way. And what I find really interesting is that we can take how people are responding and put it really into kind of 4 categories. So let's build that out into a matrix here. And so what we see on the left side is that, we've got this situation that we're in currently, okay? And that situation is both real, but it's also part perception. So some people believe that this is absolutely the end of the world, okay? Like, this is that's it. That's the end of the world, okay? And then we have people on the other side who are saying this is actually a reset for growth. This is a reset for growth. This is an opportunity right now. The planet has said this is a reset for growth, right? The canals in Venice never been cleaner since tourists stopped going there, okay? The smog over China has lifted significantly since the plane stopped flying, all the industry stopped. And I saw a report actually early last week that 50,000 fewer people in China will die due to the smog reduction. So the planet, from this perspective, has said, thank you very much for stopping the industry. I've had a chance to reset and breathe, right? And in the same way, industries are going to reset and some sectors will reset. But that is both real and perception, the end of the world versus that reset for growth. Now, on this other dimension here, we have time. And of course, it's certain that time is going to keep marching along, but there's also that perception piece. So some people have a very finite view of time, and they look at this and they're only thinking, this is the now. And that's really a very limited view of time, right? But on the other end, we have people who look at this and say, well, we're just going to look towards the future, right? So that's a very infinite view of time. It's very future focused, and they're looking at it and say, well, time is really unlimited, okay? And so this is how this kind of maps out. And with our conversation with Dennis, we're hearing that we're hearing this language kind of pieced together in these 4 quadrants. So when I hear somebody saying, this is the end of the world and it's all happening right now, end of the world, it's all happening at this exact moment in time. This is where I would say these are people who really, they're just lost. They're completely lost, and these are people who want to be rescued. Now, the problem with people needing to be rescued is even if you throw them a line, right? You throw them that life ring, they still have to grab onto it. A lot of the time, these people that are lost, they just put their hands up. They're like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not touching it, right? So they have to grab that life ring. You can't rescue them. There has to be a piece there. And the truth is a big question mark. Like, I don't know if I can help those people. And in a lot of cases, I'm not going to be able to. So if you're kind of feeling like this, like lost, like please make sure you're reaching out in any way that you can. But if someone's throwing you a life ring, make sure that you hold on to it. Okay. Now we have other people on this side here who look at this as the end of the world, and they have a very future focused view of time. So they just think that it's the end and it's going to drag on forever and it's going to be a really slow death, right? So these are people that we look at with a victim mindset, okay? And these are people who want to be served. Now, when you have this mindset of being served, these are people who are just saying the government has to fix this. Like, somebody needs to fix this issue. And until these people can get a better sense of that future reality, they probably can't be helped either, because they want to be served out of this. And what we know about people who want to be served is, like, I could give someone in this victim mindset $100,000 today, just a dentist with $100,000 today, don't need to be paid back, and say, this is going to get you through. But they're still going to run out of that at some point in the future, because when people are served, they usually don't use the resources given to them all that well. Okay. Now there's people in this top left quadrant, and these are people who are looking at this situation as a reset for growth, but also understand and really focus on, like, I got to deal with the here and now. I got to deal with this first. Okay. So these people are the fighters. These are people who say, I need to be helped, but I'm going to fight my way through this. And we absolutely are here for you if this is what you're thinking, because this is what we do. It's just a matter of looking at what is most important right now, what needs to be done today, and how can we help you with that. So what I'm going to cover in this masterclass today is absolutely going to be for you. And I don't know where you guys are coming from today, kind of what you're thinking as you arrived. If you're thinking, I'm lost and I want to be rescued, or you're kind of feeling like a victim and you want to be served. But if that's you, this webinar, this masterclass may not make a lot of sense with some of the stuff that we're going to cover. But if you're here today because you're thinking, I want to fight my way through this thing, and you're looking for help, then stay tuned, because we're going to cover some amazing stuff. Now, in this top right quadrant here, these are people who are thinking, this is a reset for growth. This is an opportunity. And we certainly do need to get through the immediate time, but in the future, there is unlimited potential. Okay. So these are the people that are going to be the leaders. And these people don't need help, but they do seek guidance. And they seek guidance and then they get on with it, right? And we absolutely want to help anyone who is a leader in this space, because it's the leaders who ultimately are going to lead the dental industry out of this. We're very keen to work with those people. So if you're a leader, stay on the masterclass today, because we're going to cover some incredible stuff that's going to directly apply to you and your situation. So when we look at this model, the most important thing that anyone can do on this masterclass today is to make a choice. I want you to make a choice and choose a quadrant, okay? Just look at this right now and think, where do I fall in this? Because I'm going to tell you what the impact of that choice is going to be for you, all right? Now, if we go back up here and we take a look at where people fall, some of you, well, maybe not, probably none of you, because if you're on this masterclass today, I'm guessing that this isn't you, but some dentists are going to choose the red line ultimately, and they just look at that and they say, that's where I'm at. Okay. And the red line looks like this. And you notice it doesn't make it to the survival line, right? We want to avoid that at all costs. So to explain this further, there was a study done by Todd Herman, and he's a really smart guy. He's the author of The Alter Ego Effect. He works with lead athletes, Olympians, top executives, a lot of really smart guy, works with a lot of great people. And he sat down with a survey for 79 CEOs of companies from $2 million to $5 million. And he asked them some simple questions to identify a couple of really interesting factors. But to boil it down, what he found is that leaders who are clearly on this red line are using fear-based language 9 times more frequently than any other kind of leader, okay? So what happens when you're constantly speaking in fear-based language? You're in a panic. And so ultimately, this becomes the panic line, right? And if we think about this idea of freeze, flight, and fight, people on this red panic line are absolutely frozen. They're completely frozen, and it's the panic that's going to cost them their business. There's no doubt that some industries are going to be decimated by this, and maybe permanently, but the dental industry, I don't believe, is going to be one of them. I think this is going to be very temporary for the dental industry, and it will cross the survival line. You know, this crossing here is ultimately going to happen when desire outstrips fear. This is when, dentists say, hey, you know what? We got to get on with it. We got to get back to it. We got to start driving business again. We got to start making some money, right? And so the dental industry, I don't think in any way, shape, or form is going to end up on that red line. But it is possible that some dental businesses will be on that red line. Now, other dental businesses are going to be on this amber line here. And if we think about this in freeze, flight, and fights, this is the flight line, but it can also be known as the prepper line. So when we talk about preppers, what we mean is those who have stocked up on the toilet paper, right? They've got the dried food, they're hibernating in a bunker, and they're just thinking, I've got to get through this thing. Like, I got to do whatever I can to just hunker down and get through this right now. And yes, you're going to get through, you're going to get past the survival line. We can see that here by being on this amber line, but at best, you'll find yourself 3 years down the track in exactly the same place you're in today or worse. And when we look back at the 2008 recession, this is something that was seen often with doctors just saying, I never really recovered. It took me many years, and I just kind of got back maybe to where I was. Some of them kind of lost, that dominance in the marketplace that they once had. Now we Todd Herman found that within this group of leaders and individuals, they're using unfocused language 3 times as often as this next group of people that I'm going to talk about. So just very unfocused, not sure what they want to do, changing on a rapid basis. Now we've got a group of people who are on this green line here. This is the fight line, okay? These are people who are positioning themselves for prosperity, okay? They're not panicking, they're not prepping, but they're positioning themselves to be in the best place possible for them, okay? And what's great about these types of individuals is what they understand is that this green line at the beginning, I mean, you can see it's pretty stagnant until we hit that survival line, right? But this is the time to build that foundation. It's time to build the foundation because they understand the last certainty that I can give you today, right? I told you with certainty that in 36 months, it will be April 2023. We're going to get there. I can tell you with certainty at some point, we're going to cross that survival line. And I can also tell you with certainty that when we do cross the survival line, there is going to be a massive rush for talent. Massive rush for talent, because right now, a lot of talent's being released into the marketplace. And when we hit that survival line, these people are going to get all scooped back up. And so there's going to be a huge rush for talent. But at the same time, there's also going to be a big rush for acquisition for the businesses and the practices that didn't make it. And there's going to be a big rush for market share. The only doctors that are going to have access to any of that when we cross the survival line are those who built a foundation today. Here's the issue. If we look right now in April 2020, to most people, all three of these lines, they kind of look the same. And if I line up, 3 dentists and I try to figure out what line they were on without talking to them, I wouldn't be able to tell. But if I spoke with them, I'd be able to immediately identify just exactly where their head's at and which line they were headed towards, because the difference between this line here and this line here all comes down to leadership. It's going to all come down to leadership. Okay. And so I don't know where, you kind of where your head's at as you're sitting here watching this. I don't know if you're panicking, prepping, or thinking, hey, this is an opportunity for me to build my foundation for positioning. But what I want to step through today are a lot of things that we've identified for dentists and dental practices in this time that are key strategic marketing steps to build that foundation. Okay. And so that you can be ready for this rush for talent when we cross the survival line. Because, look, if this thing goes on for 3, 6, 9 months, whatever it is, how many patients are there going to be out there in the marketplace who need dental work? Those who haven't had anything except for emergency-based treatment for 6 months. So, what if their current dentist can't serve them, can't fit them in, or just it doesn't exist anymore? Like, these are all realities that we're looking at. And so the dentists who spent time looking at capacity, how to grab market share, right? These are the ones who are going to enjoy the acceleration of this curve once we get out of this. So the question becomes, are you prepared to get on the green line? The first question you should ask yourself is, do you want it, right? Will you commit to making this happen? Will you invest in yourself, or are you just going to let the market determine what happens to you and just wait and see what happens? So I'm going to ask you this now and again at the end, but which of you are willing to take action on this today? Okay. Because we're going to show you exactly what you need to do now. We're going to show you how it works and try to set you up for the best success possible. If you're committed to making this happen, to getting yourself on the green line, creating a foundation for yourself and positioning you and your practice to come out of this stronger, we will show you the exact steps that you need to take. Okay. So that's what we're going to get into next. Now, if anybody has any questions on this specific kind of model that we've walked through, I'm happy to answer those now. But any other questions as we go through, I am going to save till the end. But I just want to stop for a second and see if anybody had anything just specifically about what we've covered thus far. And I'll just give it a minute in the chat here. Okay, well, let's keep moving then. All right. So how do we make this happen, right? That's the big question. So let's start a little bit back. A few weeks ago, early March, late February, this is probably what your market looked like. This is an example from my market, right? I'm in Oregon. I live in Portland. So what we could see here, just tons of competition. I took a screenshot of Google Maps, and what I found is that there's 15 dentists in a 2.5 mile radius, just tons of competition jam-packed in there. And this isn't even all the dentists. This is just the ones that happen to show up on the search here. There definitely is more, right? So this is a situation that you guys are all in, I'm sure. Highly competitive market, ton of availability for patients. patients who have plenty of options, but that was 3-4 weeks ago. So today your market looks kind of like this, right? Maybe there's 3 practices left that are still accepting patients, that are bringing patients in, that are marketing. Maybe none of them are marketing. So there's very, very few options. We're seeing this in every single market across the US. Yet, even though there's way fewer options, there's only in this market 3 practices that a patient could go to, there are still the same number of emergencies happening. The emergencies haven't gone anywhere, right? There's still the same number of emergencies out there. They just have fewer dentists that they can see. The same is true for any other services, right? This hasn't changed really. There's the same number of people who need and want implants that there were 3 weeks ago. The same number of people who needed any other service like ortho or anything else like that, general services, whatever. It's just right now they have nobody that they can go see. So we know that we can't treat everybody, okay? But we can begin to start building relationships with many of them to set ourselves up for success, to get on the green line and start to build that foundation. So we're going to show you how to get through this process, okay? Because right now, the market is wide open. There is massive opportunity here for those who wish to embrace it, okay? This is the moment to really stand apart, differentiate yourself, grow your market share, and put yourself on the green line. Because as green line leaders, what we understand here is that the future is full of opportunity, right? But we also need to address the here and now, okay? So let's look at our first step, which is what we can treat today. And what's available is emergency patients, right? So that's where we're going to start. Now, some really interesting things are going on today. The opportunity to attract patients on Google right now from Google ads has never been better, ever. This is because the costs are extremely low. So many people, so many doctors are not advertising today. They've pulled their marketing down. They've slashed their marketing budgets. That advertising rates are just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And I think we're at an all-time low right now. And what we can see for all of our dental clients overall with a full average, the average cost per conversion for emergency-based advertising on Google has dropped by 56%, okay? That's, today's cost versus just 3 weeks ago. That is absolutely incredible. This means that dentists who are still advertising today can attract the same number of emergency patients as they could 3 to 4 weeks ago, but for less than half the cost, right? Or, take it the other way. Invest the same amount of money, scale things up, and attract even more patients. That's huge. That is massive opportunity, okay? Massive opportunity right there. And we can see the same thing happening on Facebook right now. It's incredible. Facebook is no different. So look how cheap these ads are. I haven't seen rates like this in like 10, 15 years because we're seeing things like cost per click and cost per phone call just way, way down. We're running, as you can see, this is just a screenshot from one of our clients' ad accounts, and they're running emergency-based ads that are just talking about the situation with COVID-19. And the cost per click to get someone to click on one of those ads is down by 86%. That's a huge reduction. And the cost to actually get a verified new patient opportunity on the phone, to get that phone call, is down 88%, okay? This doctor that we're working with, it was getting calls from Facebook, or still is getting calls right now, like today, for $9.23 per verified lead. When is the last time you were getting good quality leads for $9.23, right? It's incredible, and it's because there's this opportunity right now. People are not advertising. They're not looking at this as an opportunity. They're scared. They're either on the panic line or they're on that amber line, and they're hunkering down, okay? So those who are on the green line, building that foundation, have this opportunity. But look, these ad costs are not going to stay like this. In 2 to 3 months from now, this is going to go way back up. People are going to jump on the bandwagon, okay? These dentists are going to start to realize this, or their marketing partners are going to start to realize this. They're going to start investing. These ad costs are going to go back up. Competition is going to go back up as more practices begin to open up and start accepting more and more patients in. So this is definitely a temporary thing, but for now, the opportunity is huge, okay? Now, I want to talk about emergency patients in general. I think that there has been a persona for for a long time. And some of it is true, right? That these are less than desirable patients, saying that, well, they're no good, they just want something done and won't come back. They don't have the money, they've neglected their treatment. And so I'm their last resort, and they're just low quality, or they're not interested in long-term care because typically the best patients in the market already have a dentist, right? That's been with them for a long time. But today, that is not the case. There are all these patients out there who maybe would have gone to their existing dentist for an emergency, but today they can't because their current dentist isn't even operating. They've completely shut down for the next few weeks, maybe 2 months. So today's emergency patient is very, very different, okay? Today's emergency patient is great quality, long-term patient. They have money, they have insurance, they have families who eventually need care, and most importantly, they don't have a dentist who's actively serving them. So that's the big opportunity right now, all right? Most of these dentists around you have shut down. You can be the only option that these patients finally have to connect to, that they can anchor to, and if you can win them over here, you can potentially win them for life. All right. This is all about helping these patients see that the grass truly is greener, right? At your practice, that you're a better solution for what they need. You're a better solution for what their family needs. A lot of people get caught up, going to the same thing, doing the same thing over and over, right? Because it's what they've used to. It's what they know. They've gone to the same practice over and over. Maybe they thought, it's nothing to write home about. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. Well, now you have the opportunity to show them that you actually can provide a better quality of care and you have a better service. And there is no reason that if you provide a better quality service that they wouldn't switch to you and stay with you for life, right? So there's the opportunity today, and this will likely continue for the next couple months. But the sooner you can take advantage of it, the more powerful this will be in terms of grabbing that market share for you. So what is the how? How do we make this happen? It's going to be about running targeted ads. Okay. We want to start running some very targeted ads on Google and Facebook. I'm going to break down exactly how this is going to work. All right. Primarily, we're looking at doing this on Google right now because it's more time of need, more transactional. And I'm going to explain what that means a little bit later if that's not something you're familiar with. And we're going to do this all for emergency-based patients. Now, the reason we're doing emergencies, of course, is because that's what we can do right now as dentists. That's what's allowed. So we want to state that we're open, that we're offering free initial consultations. And again, I'm going to break that down. I don't want to just give a bunch of things away. That's not the marketing that we're looking at here, but we'll have a free initial consultation and simply just drive them to a landing page. So we're going to have these ads up. We're going to drive people to a landing page. We're going to get them in with a free initial consultation. All right. So let's break that down. When we're sending people to this landing page, we have 5 key elements that we need to include on that landing page. Okay. And this is going to be different than what you may have seen for other types of marketing, because the situation we're in today is very different than any situation we've been in the past. All right. So this is very specific to today and how we can get these patients in today. We need to create consistency, safety, build trust, make it very easy to use, and build differentiation into it. All right. So step 1, creating consistency. The first thing that's on your landing page needs to mirror whatever was said in your ad. So if you have a simple ad up that just talks about, hey, we're open right now, we're taking emergencies, that needs to be the first thing that somebody sees on the landing page. So that's what we have here, right? We can see you today for emergencies, but furthermore, patients need to know that they're in the right spot for what they clicked on, right? So if they clicked on an emergency ad, they need to go to a website, a landing page that says something about an emergency. They shouldn't have to scroll around for it. It shouldn't be hard to find. It needs to be there so that they feel like they're in the right spot. We also need to showcase that we are open now. There's a lot of confusion going on about, can I still see a dentist right now? Are they all closed for everything? Just patients don't completely know what is happening right now. And so we need to just show them that we're open. Furthermore, for those who understand that dentists are still taking appointments for emergencies amid COVID-19, they want to know specifically, like, are you actually open right now? So we definitely need to make that communication. Like, yes, we are open right now, even in the wake of COVID-19. Okay. So we get this in place, we drive that consistency. The next piece of consistency is explaining what you can do to help. We need this website to very clearly articulate what exactly you can do for them. You know, what are the services? What types of emergency care can you treat? So we've got some examples here, right? We've got this video right here of the doctor explaining what this looks like, talking about the dental emergencies that that can be treated, and so on and so forth. And everything that I'm showing here, this is a real page. Like, this is stuff that can be put up right now. This isn't like, right? This isn't theory. These are real screenshots of a landing page that could be put up right now for your practice. Okay. Now, what we also want to have in here is more information about just what you can offer, but not necessarily from a dental standpoint, but what you can offer that patient. So we're talking about like, hey, this is an appointment that we could get you in today for, right? We accept most insurances if that's something that you do. We offer free initial consultations, and that's something we're going to get to, and we're going to dive into more in just a minute. Now, the second component here is safety, right? A lot of patients right now are just worried about their safety. Like, if I go to your practice for this emergency, am I going to get the virus? Like, that's a real concern people are having. I don't think that's coming as a surprise to anyone. So put information on this landing page that's very easy to find. Just should be right on the homepage right there to say how you're going to keep these patients safe at the practice, right? And just bullet point it out. What are we going to do for them? You know, are we only seeing one patient at a time? Are we, you know, what are we doing with our equipment? What kind of best practices are we following? Are we, you know, checking for symptoms before people come into the practice, you know, out in their car? What are you going to do to keep that patient safe? And they want to know that up front. The third component here is to build trust. So we need photos of you and your staff. We can't have stock photos on this page. We need it to be real photos so that these patients understand that they're coming to, you know, a dentist that's local to them and that they can trust. So use a local number. Utilize video content as well. Okay, this is one of our clients, Estrella Dental. These are the Estrella brothers here, and they created this amazing video where essentially they walk through on video, on camera, all the things that we've been discussing so far about what needs to be on this landing page. You know, they're just saying in their video, hey, this is how we're going to keep you safe. You know, we're open right now. We want to help treat your dental emergency, even during COVID-19. This is why you should come to us. And it's just a really fantastic video. You don't need any video content that you do to be super high quality. You don't need to bring out anyone that's a videographer. They just sat down with an iPhone, got a little tiny tripod for it. I mean, you could just even lean it up on your desk, right? And just sit down and talk through what you're going to do to build that trust, how you're going to keep patients safe, how you're going to make it easy for them, and why they should choose you. Keep it really simple. Now, the fourth thing that we want to look at is ease of use. So make this whole process as easy to use as possible. The landing page that these people fall on should be just so simple, easy to find what they need to look for, okay? There should be someone to talk to when they call in. These patients should not be getting your voicemail, right? There should be online scheduling available. There should be a chat box on there if that's something that you want to do and you want to man. You know, and then showcase that you're going to do video consultations. So this is something we're going to get into next. You want to differentiate yourself. And so you want to have a section on your website that discusses why, or on your homepage discusses why a patient should choose you. Now, there's some real simple ones that you can use, like, hey, we'll get you in today. We accept most insurances. We treat all ages. We have financing options, like whatever those specific things are for you. But one really important thing that we're seeing all green line dentists doing right now is running free initial consults. And this is also what we're going to start recommending for our clients who are not doing this, but are going to be doing it soon. And this is what you need to be doing right now. And so this is how it works. We want to offer these emergency patients a free initial video consultation. Okay. And I understand that a lot of doctors don't want to do free initial consultations. And I get that, but here's the thing. Today, it's a little bit different because it's all going to be virtual. All right. And after your initial free virtual consultation, you can take the best patients or the ones that you can help best and actually bring them into your office for a further consultation, or bring them in to bring them into the practice to just, treat that emergency situation. But this is going to be a huge key point of differentiation for now and into the future. I think that we're going to see a big shift in care going towards some of this initial video-based consultation because people are going to get used to it and they're going to like it and it's convenient. So let's talk a little bit about video consultations. The way that a lot of this works is really, really simple, okay? Your staff can book someone onto your calendar like normal, right? Okay, this patient clicks on your ad, they go to your landing page that you've just set up that we've walked through, and they call to request an appointment, okay? They call in, your staff books that person, and instead of booking them to like come into the practice, right, they book them now for a virtual consultation directly with you, the doctor, okay? So it's just gonna be a one-on-one quick virtual, video consultation between that patient and the doctor, okay? That's the first step. Now, there are so many benefits to video consultations and doing these virtual consults this way. First off, it allows you to build trust, instill confidence, and build a massive amount of credibility with patients up front very, very quickly, okay? You can build that value without investing a ton of time. I mean, you can get on for 15 minutes with a patient on a video call, much like, we're doing right now. I mean, obviously it'd be two-way, but just on a computer, you're on the computer, they're on their computer, and you guys are talking, okay? This is going to massively increase the odds that a patient shows up when, they actually need to come into the practice and accept treatment for whatever that treatment is. And this is actually so simple to use. All of this virtual, these video consultations, they're so simple to use. We've worked with doctors on this who are not tech savvy at all. And it's so simple to set up that I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't let that be like a barrier to entry on doing something like this. And there's ways that, I can help you out with some of that. And we'll talk about that. But the idea here is it's just so personal. It's so convenient for everybody. And furthermore, it allows you to screen these lower quality patients very, very quickly, right? So if you can't help somebody or they're just not the right fit for you, within 5-10 minutes of doing that video consultation, you're gonna know, and then they don't come into your practice. This person doesn't, waste your time in there, take up a spot that somebody else could have had, right? So that saves you a lot of time. But also, as care continues to evolve, you can start using virtual consultations to pull patients in from further and further away, right? You could mark it out theoretically 20-30 miles, and a patient doesn't have that barrier of like having to travel that whole way just to meet with you for a consultation. They can jump on that video consultation. You can build that value with them, build that relationship with them. And then when they're ready to come into the practice, they're willing to take that trip out because they feel you will give them the best treatment possible out of anybody else because you've built that connection with them. So a lot of really fantastic things that can be done there. We'll talk more about that. Now, you've got your landing page set up, okay? You've decided, all right, we're going to do some virtual consultations. Great. How do we get people to it? We got to start running the ads, of course, the emergency ads. So of course, right now, running ads this is the perfect time to do it because everything is on a massive discount. Everything is so cheap right now. Here are just some examples of ads that we're running, right? We want to focus our headlines on addressing a specific issue. We want to talk about how we're offering emergency care during COVID-19. Do's anything that Google and Facebook will allow you to say, and we're kind of testing what can and can't be said. But what we're finding works great right now is to say something like this, just, hey, we're still seeing patients for dental emergencies. We're not saying like, hey, we're open during COVID-19 because Facebook's being a little touchy with that, but this communicates the same message very, very well. We also want to communicate that, yes, we are open. We can get you in today. Just click here and we'll get you scheduled for that free initial consultation, for that free virtual consultation. And you see here, this is kind of that same video we were talking about before. You can film that video, talk about how you can keep that patient safe, what you can offer them, what makes you different, right? Talk about the benefits of just scheduling a quick initial video consultation with them that's just so convenient for patients. They don't have to leave their home, right? And talk about that in your video, and we can advertise that very, very effectively. On Google, a lot of the same things are going to apply here. Now, Google is probably going to be more of an immediate driver for you than Facebook will be, because it's, you know, the transactional based searches, kind of that like intent based searches. So of course, if I have a toothache or whatever it is, I'm going to go to Google and, you know, I can type in toothache or, you know, just whatever I'm typing in for that. And I'm going to be able to get that list of the practices that are available near me that can help me out with an emergency kind of treatment like that. And so those who need a solution are looking for a solution. They want to find who they can see now. And so they're going to go to Google. And so we're kind of prioritizing that right now for, you know, for marketing budgets and that kind of a thing. And just, you know, using that same kind of copy, like COVID update, we're open right now, and what we can get you in same day. Very, very powerful. But still, even though we're prioritizing Google, Facebook should not be neglected. There's massive, we already looked at this, but traffic has soared due to just everybody being home, right? So with Facebook, the costs are really, really low. You can use targeted audiences very, very well. And you can also use Facebook to communicate with your current patients. So you can run all these ads with all this messaging that we've been discussing today about, you know, being open, being safe, all of that kind of stuff. And you can use your current patient lists to market that on Facebook. And at the very least, you'll let them know that you're still open, you're still available for them, so that other dentists in your market are not going to be taking those patients from you. Okay. So you're maintaining that communication. They know you're there. They know you're available. If they have an issue, they're going to come to you first. It's very, very important. There's other things that can be done with Facebook, like lookalike audiences. There's some really cool things coming out with Facebook bots. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, just a lot that's going on Facebook right now. And it's very, very cheap. So what should you do next? What's the goal here for you and what you should do next? Get in front of as many patients as you possibly can right now, okay? We need to get in front of them, gain their trust, build value, work to schedule them now and for follow-up care later, and leverage reviews as much as possible. Get these people in, do these video consultations with them, get them excited about treatment, get them in for an emergency case, and get those reviews going. Building reviews right now is also going to be huge for getting on that green line and staying there. Because if you can build up a great foundation of Google reviews, especially right now, by treating a lot more emergency cases, that's only going to help you more in the long run. And you might be able to pull ahead of some of your competitors that have had a higher star rating than you for a long time, or those who just have way more reviews than you, if they're not, getting any for a while. And eventually we can use all of these tactics to pivot towards to much more higher end services as we come out of this. Okay. Right now we only can do emergencies, but we can use the same approach for Invisalign, for implants. And it can be quite effective because, remember, most dentists are not advertising any of this right now because they're hurting, and they're probably not going to be for many months into the future, right? Maybe even some for a year or more, and they're just not going to be advertising. So once you learn this, once you get this down and get this figured out, you can start to pivot and move to what the next thing is, doing the same kind of thing for implants and for Invisalign, and get that moving in place. So for anybody on this webinar that's looking for an immediate solution, like how can I just get this up and moving? If you want immediate help, we can build and launch this for you very, very quickly because we're already doing a lot of this right now. We do have a turnkey solution where basically we can get this all for you live, start running the ads, build the landing pages, help you out with all of the virtual consultation piece of it as well. And this would honestly be the fastest way to get ahead of this right now, because today, quickness is critical. A lot of you, a lot of dentists in general might sit around and think about what to do until it's a little bit too late or some of this opportunity has passed by. And the truth is that most of you, if not all of you, are in markets right now where there's very few dentists still treating. Advertising costs are ridiculously low. And in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, all this is going to change. It could be longer, but more practices are going to open up, right? More are going to advertise. Costs are going to go up. Competition is going to start increasing again. So getting ahead of this now is a really quick way and efficient way to get more of these patients in, start to expand your market share, and just take advantage of this opportunity. Okay. And when everyone else starts writing or starts kind of opening back up, you are already moving on to the next thing. You've started focusing on writing a line, started focusing on growth, started looking at accelerating on that curve while everyone else is just scrambling to try to get something started, opening the practice and saying, okay, now I will figure it out. I talked to quite a few dentists last week in particular that were thinking, this all looks really interesting, but I'll figure it out when this is all over. Well, when it's over, you're going to miss the opportunity. You're going to miss the boat at that point. And you can still get a lot of this done, but you're going to be behind everyone that already got started on this now. So this opportunity is the way that you get on the green line now and continue to ride it as we get out of this. So if this is something that you're interested in, or you want to chat with me about anything else at all, go to firegang.com/emergency-marketing, or you can also type "let's chat" into the chat box and we'll get you scheduled. You can fill out your information. Just simply, you can, schedule a call with me there and speak with me, and we'll talk about some the details here. And we'll make sure that we can get this up for you and get on the green line. For pricing on this, we'll talk about it on the call. We're allowing some practices to just do a pay what you can for this program. We'll let you know what we typically charge in the call, let you know what those rates are. But look, we want you guys to win, okay? You came out, you took the time to hop on this masterclass, listen to me, listen to what our team put together. We want you to thrive first and foremost, okay? Because I know that that's going to help the market. That's going to help us get out of here. That's going to help, FireGang as a company, and we want more partners with great dental leaders. We want to help you stay in business. So we can take a look at that, and I'm happy to discuss all of that with you on the call. Okay. Now, for this emergency style dental marketing, what we're going to look at doing, we're going to kick it off with a deep differentiation analysis and total market facing customization. So what that means, identify who in your market is still active, who is advertising, who's marketing, what does that look like, and do a differentiation analysis to identify what makes you different than everyone else. Why would a patient want to choose you for any of their needs right now, and really identify and get super granular on that, work with you on customizing all of this system specific to your practice in your particular market. And then we'll take all of that information, build out your Google ads, build out your Facebook ads, build out all your landing pages, and optimize those consistently over a period of months. We'll integrate all the systems together, get the tracking set up so that this is all put together between the ads, the landing page, as well as the virtual consultations. And we'll work with you on getting set up on the virtual consultations, show you kind of how to do it in a lot of that information as well. So again, it's just firegang.com/emergency-marketing. You can type "let's chat" into the chat box and we'll get you scheduled. I think Kelsey's also going to post the link in there. But listen, as if we kind of look back at where we started today, looking at our green line here, this is an absolute surefire way to get in front of people and drive business right now, okay? People who need emergencies, they're still going to need other types of care. Emergencies is just where we have to start today, okay? And their family potentially needs other types of care. So this is how we build our foundation right now. This is the steps that we need to take today. And you can leverage this to come out stronger where everybody else is afraid to market right now. So my question, and I told you I was going to ask you this, is, do you want to be on the green line? Do you want to stay on the amber line or stay on the red line, wherever you feel like you're at right now? Because a lot of doctors are struggling. They don't know what to do next. They're afraid to market. They're afraid to advertise and really get ahead of this. So this is the solution to doing that. And again, the opportunities here, quickness is critical. If you want to do this yourself, I commend you for it. I think that the most surefire way is just talk to me and we'll get you scheduled and we'll get you set up and figure out if this is something that makes sense for you. And again, we're allowing some practices to just pay what they can for something like this, because I definitely want to help out anyone that I can. And one kind of last thing that I'll leave you guys with is that, I know for a fact that DSOs in large practices are getting ready to ramp up here. We've seen this before. We're seeing it right now. that these larger practices have identified this opportunity. Okay, they know how this goes. They went through 2008. Maybe some of these leaders didn't go through it as a DSO, but maybe as a practice owner of a larger group or a business owner of some kind. But they went through 2008. They know how this works. They know how to come out stronger. So if you want to be one of the practices that succeeds, that hits this green line, builds that foundation now so that you can ride this curve at the end, then the first step you got to take is just honestly schedule a call with me. And we'll look at the best solution to get you moving forward here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questions, and we'll go over anything that you guys have. Let me just get the chat box open. Question: do you recommend Zoom for video consultations, and is it HIPAA safe? So I don't know if it's HIPAA compliant. It might be. I'd have to double check on that. Zoom can definitely work as like a video platform. It works great as a video platform. I would have to double check if it's HIPAA compliant. However, there are other platforms that are designed specifically, like they're called teledental platforms that are designed specifically for this purpose, that are great for video conferencing, but also have other features as well and are just made for dentists. So I'd recommend going there. Doxy is a good one that's pretty cheap, that we've seen work quite well for some of our clients and other doctors that we've worked with. So you could take a look at that. If you want to sign up for a chat and talk with me, we can talk through some of Doxy as well. But good question. Good question. Any other questions? Happy to field questions. This is the time to get any of this answered that you might have. I know we covered a lot today. You're welcome. If you don't have any questions, I'd also love to just hear from one or two of you, because this helps me a lot. What was a major takeaway that you had today, or just one thing that you learned? Because if there was a particular major takeaway that a couple of you had, it would be one of those things where I'd love to share that with more dentists potentially. So would love to know. But if you have any other questions as well, happy to walk through that with you. Yeah, advertising was pushed way back on your agenda at the moment, and you never thought about ramping it up. Yeah, I mean, that is okay. Another takeaway: more marketing towards emergencies is a good idea. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to communicate here. Everyone is thinking the same thing. Let's go back to our graph over here. Okay, if I can find it. Everybody's thinking the same thing. Let's pull back on advertising, right? Let's pull back on that. And it means that everybody ends up in exactly the same spot. Everybody is either here or they're here, depending upon how much they pulled back. And there's very few practices that are actually building that foundation. We've got multiple practices that we're working with that increase their paid ads budget significantly, and are seeing a lot more emergency patients and are doing quite well. So it's multiple ways of looking at it. And I do want everybody here to get onto that green line. That's the whole goal of all of this. Help you get onto that green line, change the mindset here, and be on the fight line and position yourself to come out of this stronger. Because if you're like a lot of others, you might find yourself in a position where you're just trying to figure out, how do I build my foundation in 2 months from now? All right. And you might be a little behind at that point. Okay, a couple more questions. Does your service require a contract? If yes, how long? We're looking at doing this in just a 3-month stint because so we just want to work with you for 3 months on this. And we can talk more about some of those details if you want to set up a call, but I figure that's a question maybe everybody would have as well. Yeah, I mean, just 12 weeks here because this is something where we want to get into it now and get through this. And we're seeing a lot of the reports coming out from medical people. Like we're not necessarily listening to like politicians on when the virus is probably going to be over. We're really following the medical people on this, right? And we're hearing a lot about, it's going to probably be 12 weeks from now before a lot of this is going to die down. Practices are probably going to open before then. But potentially, I mean, we don't know. We're taking this on a week by week basis, but we're looking at this and saying 12 weeks is probably where we need to implement a strategy like this. And we really need to run it for that period of time. So that's kind of what we're thinking there. Good question. Also, you said, how do I set up a phone consult with you? Let me flip back over here. You can just, I don't know if you're just on a phone, but if you're just listening, you can go to firegang.com/emergency-marketing. But it's also on the screen there for you as well. Okay, next question. You talked a lot about emergencies. I am an oral surgeon and I do a lot of elective procedures, implants, and third molars. Would you suggest targeting these potential patients at this time or wait? Great question. I would absolutely recommend targeting them right now. The reason why is because you can, okay, let's move back over here. We might as well do this visually at the same time. We talked about video consultations, right? So you can, the emergency dental piece is let's get revenue in the door today. However, if you want to look at this and say, how do we get patients in for tomorrow? The video consultation idea is still going to work. And what we're seeing with, we have other clients who want to get more dental implant patients. And that's kind of what you're asking here. So what they're doing is we've worked with them to increase their paid ads budget specifically for dental implant leads. Now they get these leads in, and when the leads come in, people are calling in or they're setting in a web form, the staff is handling that, and they're just setting up these video consultations between the implant patient and the doctor. And it's the same idea, right? They're getting in there and they're building that trust. They're building confidence and credibility with these people and doing the best that they can to schedule that person for the future. If they've built a good enough relationship there over the video phone and the video conference, and that that patient wants to move forward in some capacity. And some places, it's more defined dates, certain states of when you might open back up. So you could schedule that person for an actual in-person consultation. But the whole point of the video consult is to get these patients to say, okay, when this is over and when I can see a dentist, I am going to go to Dr. Menacho. And that's not even a question in my mind. I am going to go to Dr. Menacho, because I know that he's the best for me, or at the very least, they're thinking that's going to be the very first person I check out. And I'm not even going to schedule anything else with anyone until I visit Dr. Menacho. Okay. So we have clients doing that, and they've done the virtual consults and are just sort of stacking up appointments, right? For when the practice opens back up. If you have to reschedule them, so be it. You have to reschedule them. It might happen, but, that's the best way to start to build that foundation now for the future. So we're seeing success with that. Absolutely. I would highly recommend, doing this video consultation bit. Also this product that I'm talking about can also work for what you're interested in. Because we are all also doing that as well. If you want some help with it, to get more of those dental implant leads in, and you want some help with like the video consultation piece, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Even if, you don't want to move forward, feel free to book a call, and we can talk about some more of the details there. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any more questions on that, you're very welcome. Okay, so we have one more question. Wait, let me scroll over here. Somebody else said, due to the virus, we may not want to treat new emergency patients. How do we ramp up without appealing to the emergency patient? So I kind of answered that with the last question. It's just about stacking those future appointments, right? If you really just say, I do not want to treat emergencies right now, that's, that's your personal choice. That's fine. I would suggest marketing all of your services like you normally would and just try to stack those appointments for when you open back up. Video consultations are just going to be huge for you. So again, if you want some help with that, feel free to book a call with me, and we can get into it. All right. Any other feedback? Again, I would love to hear just anything that you thought was impactful or a big takeaway for you, or any other questions that you have. A lot of good questions so far. I definitely appreciate the engagement. It seems like you guys are learning a lot, which is great, because that's what we're trying to do today. And there's still quite a few of you on, so happy to keep answering questions. You booked a consult for tomorrow. Sounds great. I don't know how much time I have available tomorrow. I know that some of these are filling up, so appreciate you booking for tomorrow. We'll chat then. Anyone else who wants to book? You thought the video conference idea is interesting. Yeah, I love it. You received 2 texts from your ENT already offering video consults. Interesting. Yeah, I think they're pretty powerful, and they absolutely can work. I mean, this is, like I said, this is the time to do it. If there ever was a time, it's right now, because like I said before, there are so many doctors that I talked to, especially last week, that said, you know what, that video conference thing's interesting, but I'm going to figure that out when all this blows over. Well, when it blows over, it's never too late, right? It's never too late, but you're going to miss half the efficacy of it. I mean, it's going to be way less powerful than it is today. So now is the time. Now is absolutely the time. Grassy, couple people. Looks like more and more people are hopping off. Great. Must have answered everybody's question. Everybody's questions. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll kind of wrap up with that then. If there's nothing else at this point, I'm just checking in I've got a couple question boxes open. Yeah, it looks like that's all the questions that we have. Okay, great. Yeah, appreciate everybody coming out. We'll call it for tonight. And I'll chat with a few of you tomorrow and next week. Thanks, everybody.